You know it's called That Pedal Show, Dan.
Yeah.
Look, new pedals.
Yeah, you wish. Remember, never knowingly first. Don't know what happened there, but that last call was wonderful. Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here. Hello, welcome to the show. Please subscribe.
Oh, and please go to the store and buy merch.
Yeah, do that. That's how we fund the show predominantly, so please go to thatpedalshowstore.com. Okay, as we joked in the hilarious intro, we do look at pedals every now and again.
Every now and then.
And here are some. We're just going to have a black through them. They are new to us anyway. They might not be new on the market completely because we're never that new. Although the Venus is quite new.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll get to it. So today we have the Peace Hill FX Tube Scream 12 AU7 mod.
We have the Crazy Tube Circuits Venus.
We've got the LPB3 linear power booster from Electro-Harmonix.
We have the KMA Cirrus reverb and delay pedal.
Nice KMA Machines. We've got the SDE-3, look. Boss,
I know.
Dual digital delay.
Yes.
What fun. We have featured the SDE-3 before, but we just had it in a show. We didn't really talk about it, so that's why it's here.
Beautiful.
Okay, the Holy Tube Screamer then, Daniel.
Yeah, so Peace Hill, company in Japan, really lovely chap, and he has sent us this out to try and a couple of his amazing tube preamps. But I'm really interested to hear this. I've heard about valve mods in tube screamers before, and this is a 12AU7 mod. And I've also stuck just the TS9 on the board so that we can hear the difference.
Yeah.
But the 12AU7 is supposed to add some harmonics and loveliness, as one would hope.
Yeah, hence the holes on the top, presumably to help it keep cool.
Speed holes.
Like me.
Yes.
Yeah.
More holes required for me.
Yeah. Many more for me. All right. If only we had somebody who liked tube screamers in the house.
Indeed.
Okay, so just to explain it then, you'll recognise fans of tube screamers will recognise the top three controls, level, tone and overdrive, set in the time-honoured fashion. On the side is an extra knob which determines the amount of the 12AU7 is in.
Oh, cool.
And then there's also a mini switch on the side which drops the clipping diodes out, I think. Or changes the relationship of the clipping diodes.
Okay, from like symmetrical to asymmetrical to...
Yes, and you notice it more, you put it round, i.e. when it's clipping harder.
Yes, very good, very good.
Without further ado, you'll see that we set them up with similar knob position there. We'll put the AU7 in the middle and see what we've got just straight off the bat, okay? Amps today.
I wonder what the settings are.
65 Deluxe Reverb by Fender. You've seen it a million times on the show, or maybe if this is your first time, we do use it a lot. And the PRS HDRX20 on a rather unusual 1x12 barefaced, 1x10 barefaced upsetter cab, and in the cabinet is the fabled EVM10L or M speaker. I'll confirm on screen. The rockin' horse shit one that Paul Revere put in loads of his mods and says is the best guitar speaker ever.
Brilliant. So now I'm never going to be able to find one. I'll buy one before this comes out.
No one can find one.
Oh, okay.
I think we've got to say thanks to the Hobo Roadie and Music Therapy Laz for facilitating.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
They are the...
and also to Alex at Barefaced, obviously, for putting it in there. So, yeah, it's... I don't even know if you can see it. I'll do a detail, but it's really tiny.
It's really tiny. It sounds great.
Definitely some extra harmonics.
Definitely.
Extra clarity. Obviously, the tone knob is in an arbitrary 2 o'clock position, but there's more clarity throughout.
Yep. You've also got extra bass should you need it. When you dial that in, it goes, unless that's just more level. But
It definitely seems to bring that.
Yeah.
For sure, it seems to bring that. In fact, when I messed about with it first, just as we were setting it up, I thought it was a bass control.
Oh, did you? Okay, right.
Have a quick schwang, Dan, and we'll see what this clipping switch does. It's pretty subtle. I expected it to be less subtle than that, but I think it's in the up position it's clipping more.
Okay.
In the down position it's clipping less. See what you think. Maybe
down more?
Maybe we're misunderstanding something.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's certainly nice and open
Yeah.
sounding compared to the standard TS9 reissue, which is what that is.
Which still sounds great.
The mids are in a slightly lifted place, it feels.
Right.
So that one, as you will know from Tube Screamers, can sound a bit cloudy, for want of a better description.
Interesting, yeah.
And the Peace Hill definitely seems to lift above that and provide more clarity across the board.
Awesome. First one out of the gate for them.
Happy
Winner,
days.
winner. Beautiful.
Good, nice. I'm gonna try that in my rig and see. The reason I've stopped using Tube Screamers personally is because my rig has become very, very overly mid-heavy.
Right.
Because the amp does it, lots of other things do it, and I don't need that to do it as well.
Sure.
But that feels like it could be a great option.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice.
Crazy Tube Circuits Venus then. The much talked about Venus. Christos and the team at Crazy Tube over there in Athens in Greece.
Come on.
Pretty good.
Come on, Catherine.
Pretty good.
That was really good.
It was pretty good.
Really? There we go.
By who?
I don't know, but whoever played that rhythm guitar part is an absolute genius.
I think it was a Dutch band.
Right.
But obviously we all know the Bananarama version.
That's right.
Robert De Niro's waiting. Anyway,
Hang on. What? Where we go? What?
much talked about because it is inspired heavily by the fabled and famous BK Butler tube driver.
Oh.
Now, the BK Butler tube driver, favourite overdrive device of mine of late. And over the years, there have been many variants. So the original many. The original one, and then, I don't know, Chandler, Dean Markley. There was rack mount ones, there was small box ones,
Yeah.
there was 4 knob ones, there was 5 knob ones, there was 3 knob ones.
There's a show. If we can hunt them down.
We will. We'll follow up. But what Christos and the team have done have shrunk down the greatest hits, shall we say,
Very good.
into a smaller box. So there is a tube in there, and added some stuff to enable you to get various era of
Oh, wow.
tube
Okay,
driver. That's
cool.
the point of it. It's to cover a lot of bases. And if you have a tube driver on your board, as I do, it is a holy pain in the butt because it doesn't fit anywhere.
Right. It doesn't, and mains powered.
Mains powered,
Yeah.
doesn't fit, but we put up with it. And if you're Eric Johnson, you've put up with it for your whole playing career.
Yes, okay.
Big proponent of the tube driver. All right, we will do a show comparing the real thing and this. But anyway, let's get going. So volume and drive should be explanatory enough. 3-band EQ.
Oh, nice. Okay. The original has that, right? No, the original's got bass and treble.
2, yeah.
Yeah,
but then
okay.
I don't know about different variants down the years.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
So
Yeah.
the one that I have, which is the classic BK Butler one, has bass and treble.
Okay.
In addition, it's got this tight switch which cuts out a bit of bottom end from the overdrive section.
Okay,
If it's getting
nice.
too flubby.
Yep.
In the original rack version, it was line level.
Oh, okay.
Hello, missus. Goodbye. And
Got it.
then this bias control affects the bias of the valve, the cathode bias of the valve.
Mm-hmm.
So over to the left, it's spitty, aggressive, starved.
Okay.
Insert your own gag here.
Was there... Oh, yes, because the one that you've got has that modded bias controller.
It does. It has a
Yes.
bias control.
And that's a common mod, or does he actually do those with that mod on them?
4 knob or 5 knob. Mine's a 5 knob because it
Got
has
it.
the bias control.
Got it. There you go. Very good.
Honestly, I don't know if it does the same thing in the BK Butler, but that's what it does here. So without further ado, let's hear it, shall we, Daniel?
Yes. There's your starved valve.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
That is not
It is
fun.
weird. Fans of tube drivers, you might know why, but to me that sounds like a starved fuzz, which could be a cool thing. But bear in mind, we're running virtually no drive at the moment.
Okay.
So let us
Right.
continue. What the hell was that? Flipping, did you see him go? Did you see him go? That was very nice, Dan. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it as it gets louder.
As it gets louder, yeah.
It did,
It seems very touchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. I
There was a point there. It got really fun.
Yeah.
Some mids came in, and it got really fun.
Yes. Well, so we turned the drive up. We turned the volume up. Like a lot of pedals. Let's do something with some air in it. Oops. Like a lot of pedals, the volume control is a really important tone shaper
Yeah,
as well.
that's so true.
And getting a bit of love through the output section too seems to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
I'll start with.
I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not sure of the design of this, but on a lot of overdrive pedals, where you have the volume control is the last knob in the circuit post any buffers. So actually, it's not just the amount of output, but it changes the impedance.
In a big. Oh man,
And that's a big thing.
so what's it doing? Lowering the impedance as it goes up, then.
So as it goes up, as it goes up will be a lower
Yeah.
impedance.
So it's going to drive.
That's right.
Everything downstream.
That's right.
more easily.
Yeah.
More easily. That's. We're not saying this does that, but that is a phenomenon that occurs. Right. Let's try some hollow things. The high end is quite bitey, isn't it? Are you
Nice
finding
though.
that or not really?
Yeah. You know what? I'd love to hear that. I'm assuming there's a 12AX7 in there.
12A. It does say do different tubes.
Yeah, I'd love to try some different tubes in there.
Oh. This is interesting.
Right.
Actually, before I tell you the interesting part, I just want to put that fat switch back in.
Okay.
Because it was. Yes, it was carving out a load of lower mids.
Okay.
When it warms up in a bit and you stand on it, I mean, turn it up,
Yeah.
it starts to howl.
Yeah.
So, sorry, back to your point. You want to hear a different tube.
Yes.
This tube is really interesting. He found a tube
Right.
called an ECC-83 2.
Okay.
So an ECC-83 we know
V2.
as we know as a 12AX7. We know an ECC-81 as a 12AT7,
yeah.
and we know an ECC-82 as a 12AU7.
Right.
Right, so those are all the ones we know. This particular type of dual triode is an ECC-832, which, as far as Crazy Tubes say, is somewhere in between an AX7 and an AT7.
Oh.
So I don't know, what that means, but if you put a 12AX7 in there, it's going to be more gainy.
Yeah.
And presumably if you
I was thinking I'd like to hear it with a 12AU7.
Yeah, so less gainy.
Yeah, because there's so much gain in there.
Yeah, and he says, do
Yeah,
experiment with different tubes. So
that's great. It's obviously the EQ and that mid control is a welcome addition, but also is very interactive, and so everything as you get louder as well, all bets are off, you know.
in a big way.
Yeah.
I would say feel-wise, my particular tube driver, if it is typical of the breed, and I don't know that it is squashier than that.
Yeah,
so the
okay.
compression is a lot more obvious. That's has a harder note delivery,
Right.
which some people like, some people maybe would like less. But yeah, Killer, I'm looking forward to getting into that
Yeah.
a bit more.
Brilliant.
And as you say, exploring some of that interactivity
Yeah.
a bit, super tweaky. But
Yeah.
just finishing it off, it does not sound like any overdrive pedal.
No.
It sounds like there's more going on than a normal overdrive pedal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man, crazy tube circuits are so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving along. Okay, if I was to ask you, what is the most popular Electro-Harmonix pedal? You would say
The Big Muff.
Big Muff. If I was to ask you, what was the first Electro-Harmonix pedal?
I'm going to guess it's this.
Well, it's the LPB1.
Yeah, I had a tube version of this.
Yeah, there's a tube. There is
Yeah.
a tube version. I've actually I've been putting one on the rig at the moment, and they're fantastic. Yeah, so the LPB1, designed by Mike Matthews and another really great guy.
Whose name is currently escaping
Name
me.
is currently escaping me. But anyway,
I'll put it on the screen.
that was the start of Electro-Harmonix.
Oh, well.
And this is the LPB3. So LPB linear power booster.
Paul Stacey's a big fan of these,
Paul,
isn't he?
massive fan.
Our friend Paul Stacey, will give him a honk.
And what these are, what everyone loved them for is pushing the front of a valve amp into overdrive. This one's super cool because you've got, you can choose the mid-range and cut and boost, which is really great.
Oh, okay, so a parametric mid.
Parametric mid. You've got the choice of, it's a 20 dB or a 30 dB max gain on the switch on the left.
33.
33. It's a really cool thing.
And a Q on the mid.
On the mid-range, yeah.
Well, let's see if I can work it out then. We'll start everything at noon.
Just, it feels fantastic to play.
Well, I was going to say it's possible to set it up so there's virtually no difference.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bit of difference because we have an impedance change and I've turned the high end down a tiny bit.
Right.
But that is not colouring your core tone in any sort of detrimental way.
It doesn't feel like I've got a pedal in there.
Quite the opposite.
It's really cool.
Killer, sorry to stop you.
Yeah,
mate.
no.
On you go. I'm not making those mid-frequency adjustments to suggest in any way that they sound good, merely to say that within that much of the frequency and the boost or cut is a ginagerous, to use a technical term, amount of sculpting
That's pretty amazing.
ability. Yeah, killer.
That sounds ace.
That's your thing, isn't it?
I love that.
Yeah. I would need the amp to be working
Yeah, sure.
harder. What's cool about it is you've got that really, really powerful EQ, so whatever kind of boost you want is there. You can shape those mid-range frequencies exactly where you want them for a kind of like a mid-cut, scoopy kind of sound, or
Yeah.
a really mid-push vintage treble booster kind of sound. And as we proved right at the get-go, almost a completely, guess what, linear power boost.
Fantastic.
In the sense that it pushes all frequencies the same. Yeah,
Beautiful.
nice.
Yeah.
But I think that's in there, not expensive. I mean, not
Yeah.
that Electro-Harmonix does anything very expensive, but I think it's incredibly affordable.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along. KMA Machines.
Cirrus, this is the first KMA Machines pedal we've had on.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying they're German?
Right, handmade in Berlin.
Okay.
There you go. Yes, German.
Have you been to Berlin?
We went somewhere near it once, didn't we? In Germany? I'm sure we did. Because I kept saying Ausfahrt.
It's a massive place, Asphalt, isn't it? Absolutely huge. Signs for it everywhere.
Everywhere. All roads lead to Ausfahrt.
Anyway, Berlin's really ace if you ever get the chance to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, right. Was it reverb and delay?
Reverb and delay. The thing with this pedal, you've got three different reverb engines, 3 different delay engines,
Oh, cool.
but there is a sensitivity control. So there are certain functions that function off the attack.
Dynamic.
Exactly.
What are the 3 reverb engines, just out of interest?
So the 3 reverb engines are, you've got the choice of a modulated reverb, an opening low pass filter, or a closing high pass filter.
Okay, so none of your plates, rooms,
No.
and
None of that.
springs here. It's not that.
None of that shenanigans.
Okay, and in terms of delay?
And delay, we have the mode switch chooses between a modulated delay, a sample hold filter delay, or a fade in octave delay.
Well,
They're all the delays you want.
I feel like the picture of the deer in the woods, it looks lost.
Okay.
And I fear that's what's going to happen with us. Awesome.
Yeah, really fun.
What's the SH mode in the delay?
Sample hold.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't helping at all. I wasn't helping at all, I mean. Yeah, I guess I was sort of wildly dialing in loads of stuff to try and make the point.
But isn't that what you do with these sorts of things? You
Exactly.
just have to. You just have to get in it.
Yeah, I think the point being that textural soundscapes, you know, you're not buying something like that for a quarter and a dotted eighth.
No,
Or
that's
you're
right.
just your
No.
standard basic tap tempo delay and a bit of reverb. It's
It's exploration.
more exploration than that, yeah. Which of course we could carry on with, but you probably want a day.
I want to do this SDE-3 because this thing, I've set this up in stereo because it does stereo, but we have looked at the SDE-3000, the big boy, and Boss have done a compact version of that. And man alive, this thing sounds absolutely amazing.
Back to the previous comment, if you are looking for a quarter note and a dotted eighth in a simple delay, this is it.
It just sounds so good.
I've praised it in the past for just the utter simplicity of the top panel. So dual concentric knobs.
Yep.
You've got all the things that you would want in a delay, i.e. the time of the delay, the number of repeats and the level of the repeats. But in addition to that, you've got speed and depth for modulation and, praise be, a high cut
Yes.
function to take some of the high end out of it if you want the delay to sit back out of the way.
Am I right in saying that the large unit doesn't have that?
It does. It's just buried.
Oh, is it?
And
Okay.
there is extensive, in the video that Dan and I did for it, we said, oh God, we couldn't work out how to turn the tone down. There is extensive tone shaping capabilities.
Oh, is there? Okay.
It is just buried deep
Okay.
in a menu, in a cave.
Nobby. Little knobby.
You know
Tone.
that crust that goes around the centre of the earth with around the Bernie bit?
Yeah. Okay.
Underneath there,
Right.
in the middle of the Bernie bit.
Right. Got it.
That's where it's buried.
Okay.
So you need a long drill. Anyway, sorry, it has been a long day. Even better, on the last knob on the right-hand side gives you your subdivision ratio between the two delays. Could you demonstrate that, please,
Indeed.
Daniel?
Indeed. So we've got it set up at the moment. If you press and hold, you go into tap tempo mode
Yeah.
because we've got a switcher, so we can just tap. So there's my tempo.
So at the moment, is that two delays coming up? So at the moment, it's one delay because it's off.
That's right.
Right, so if we now change the subdivision ratio, you'll hear the two delays separate by a subdivision. It sounds odd in the first instance because from the first bit that goes around, it takes you from no difference up to 100 milliseconds.
Right. Okay.
So if you want them separated not very much,
That is so cool. I'm a fan.
And then
I'm a
obviously,
fan.
because it's separated by a short amount, that second delay then gets further away from the first one.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, but the first subdivision proper is, you'll have to tell me what note that is. Is that quaver?
That's a quaver.
Okay,
So
so
a
that's
quarter
an eighth.
note.
Even, right? Mm-hmm. And again. So you've got two delays doing that. And of course, the golden thing that we all love, a quarter note and a dotted eighth.
Hang on. Sad one.
Dan, sorry, this is probably really hateful to listen to, but the final thing that we'll just show you before we get into the modulation is the high cut feature. So if you just, we'll
Yes.
set the feedback long. If you just,
That's great.
so by putting that high cut on, what I'll do is I'll add some distortion now, and let's see how confidently Daniel can play with some distortion in the sound, and then I'll put the high cut on, or at least turn the high cut all the way around and see how much you like that.
It's very groovy.
It becomes so much easier to play when you take the high end out of the repeats so that it sits behind what you're trying to play.
But the interesting thing with that is the high end gets gradually less.
Yeah.
It's not just a filter, an EQ on the loop section. It filters the first one, and then it goes through the filter again and again and again. So it
Kind of like
gradually
an
gets-
analog delay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good.
So finally then, the thing that we really love about classic era 12-bit digital delays, and I'm not saying this is 12-bit because I don't know that it is, but if you think of stuff like, what were some of the early 12-bit ones? Ibanez did one.
Oh yeah, and Ibanez MXR,
And Dan uses a modern version of one.
the Otto Machines.
Is the modulation.
Yes. This is where this money shot.
It's just ace, isn't it?
It's Wonderful.
It's
I
ace.
love it.
And it's such an easy.
UI.
UI.
Yeah.
It's great. I'll just stick some overdrive on a minute. Try some humbuckers with that, just to demonstrate the fact that you can have quite a lot of delay, but because of that high cut. Trying to tell me something?
No. I just want to try one thing with that sound. That's how they did it.
Nice.
That's wicked.
Sounds amazing.
Really does.
The more I hear the Venus, the more I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's just burning in the tube
Maybe.
or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
Sounded wicked then. Okay. That was probably longer than we meant to do, but some really great sounds in there. But
surprise.
that thing, the SDE-3, round of applause.
It's bossing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so easy. Not to take away from the Cirrus, it's not the same thing. I mean, I appreciate that it's in the delay world, but if you're just looking for an all-rounder delay that kind of does a bit of everything, I would be choosing that at this point. The tap tempo is a bit of a pain because you have to press and hold and then tap tempo.
Yeah,
or
but you can external
use,
that. There's an external switch.
Yeah, you can use an expression pedal.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have a separate switch, I think, but I guess the reality of that, it's a compact pedal size. If you want a tap tempo as well, I suppose, anyway, blah, blah, blah. You can deal with that.
Can you deal with that?
Can you deal with that? Okay, just one thing to do then. And thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching That Pedal Show. Please go to That Pedal Show store and buy stuff. Do subscribe. And thank you to our Patreons on patreon.com. Monthly giveaways over there. If you want to come and support us in that way, we really appreciate it.
Fabulous. Massive thanks to our preferred retailers. And thanks for joining us. Don't forget, every Monday we do viewers' comments and questions. So if you have any questions, come and join us live. And you can ask us in person.
Awesome. I think it's my turn for everything.
It is.
There you go. Nice.